The Grand Assembly Hall stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystal floor, its dome rising so high that small clouds sometimes formed near the ceiling. 47 different species filled the massive space, each delegation occupying their designated section with furniture shaped to accommodate their unique biology. The air recyclers worked overtime to maintain the dozens of different atmospheric preferences, creating subtle shimmers where the environmental zones met. Dr. Jinsu Park stood in the human waiting area, hands clasped behind his back as he watched the Vorthrim delegation present their latest achievement. The insectoid scientists gestured with 4 of their 6 limbs at a holographic display showing a faster-than-light drive that achieved 0.003% greater efficiency than the previous model. The assembled delegates offered polite chittering, humming, and various species-specific applause. 300 years of research for a 0.003% improvement, whispered Dr. Sarah Chen, Jinsu's chief engineer. She stood beside him, her fingers drumming nervously against her tablet. And they act like they've revolutionized galactic travel. Both. Jinsu smiled slightly but said nothing. He had learned during his 2 years as Earth's ambassador that patience served better than criticism. The humans were the newest members of the Galactic Council, admitted only 5 years ago after demonstrating fusion technology and basic FTL capability. Most of the elder species still treated humanity like children playing in a sandbox. The Selanthyr went next, their crystalline forms refracting the hall's light into rainbow patterns as they discussed improvements to quantum communication arrays. Then came the Krell with their biological computers, the Mandari with their gravity manipulators, and 6 other species with their incremental advances. Each presentation followed the same pattern. Take existing technology, make it slightly better, receive acknowledgement, sit down. Ambassador Park. A translator device chimed near Jinsu's ear. Chim. He turned to see Director Silenth approaching, the ancient Selenthyr's crystalline body moving with the slow deliberation of someone who had lived for thousands of years. I trust your presentation will be brief? The words carried no malice, just the casual dismissiveness of someone addressing a child. Jinsu bowed respectfully, a gesture he had learned the Selanthyr appreciated. We will take only the necessary time, Director. Good. Silent's internal light pulsed in what might have been approval. I am certain the Council will find humanity's contributions educational. 1. Every species must start somewhere. As Silenth glided away, Sarah muttered something unflattering in Mandarin. Jinsu touched her elbow gently. Save the anger. We will need it for what comes after. The presentations continued through the day. The human delegation waited, watching as species after species showed off technologies that pushed against the boundaries of known physics, but never quite broke through. Everything stayed safely within the established rules, the proven theories, the accepted universal constants that had governed galactic civilization for millions of years. Finally, as the station's artificial sunset began painting the dome in orange and purple hues, the announcement came. The human delegation will now present. Jinsu walked to the central platform, his team following with 6 large cases floating on anti-gravity sleds. The hall quieted, though Jinsu could sense the atmosphere was more about politeness than genuine interest. Most delegates probably expected another fusion improvement, or perhaps an advance in Earth's primitive FTL systems. Honored delegates, Jinsu began, his voice amplified by the hall's systems and translated into 47 languages simultaneously. Humanity, thanks the Council for this opportunity. We have been members of this great assembly for only 5 years. In that time, we have learned much from the elder species. Your wisdom has guided us. Your technology has inspired us. Several delegates made approving noises. This was the expected script. The young species expressing gratitude to their betters. However, Jinsu continued, and something in his tone made the ambient noise die down. Humanity has also contributed something unique to galactic science. We approach problems differently. We think differently. And sometimes, That difference produces unexpected results. High Scientist Theral Mox, leader of the Vorathrim delegation, made a clicking sound that the translator rendered as amused condescension. Indeed, Ambassador, your species' enthusiasm is refreshing, but the laws of physics do not change based on how one thinks about them. That is true, Jinsu agreed. The laws do not change, but our understanding of them can. He gestured to his team. We would like to demonstrate something. With the Council's permission, Director Silent's light pulsed. Proceed, Ambassador. Sarah and the other engineers opened the cases, assembling a device that looked deceptively simple. A ring of silver metal, 3 meters in diameter, supported by 4 pillars containing generators and control systems. The entire assembly took just 10 minutes to set up, which itself caused some murmuring. Most galactic technologies required extensive preparation. This device, Jinsu explained, is what we call a quantum bridge generator. It allows for instantaneous matter transfer across galactic distances. The murmuring grew louder. Several delegates made sounds indicating disbelief or confusion. Theralmox stood, his mechanical translator conveying sharp skepticism. Ambassador Park, I do not wish to embarrass you before the Council, but what you describe is impossible. Instantaneous transfer violates causality. It breaks the Heisenberg certainty principle. It contradicts fundamental universal constants established through millions of years of research. Yes, Jinsu said simply. According to conventional theory, it should be impossible. Should be? Silent's tone carried warning now. Ambassador, the Council does not appreciate demonstrations of theoretical impossibilities or, worse, theatrical tricks. Jinsu met the ancient being's gaze calmly. Director, I assure you, this is neither impossible nor a trick. We simply found a different approach. May we demonstrate? Silent conferred briefly with other senior delegates, then gave permission. Proceed. But be warned. Ambassador, if this proves to be deception, there will be consequences for Earth's standing in the Council. Understood. Jinsu nodded to Sarah, who activated the device. The silver ring began to glow with a soft blue light. The air within it shimmered, then seemed to fold inward on itself in a way that hurt to watch. Reality appeared to twist, creating a window that showed not the hall on the other side, but star-filled space. We have opened a bridge to coordinates 40,000 light-years from this station, Jinsu announced. To prove this, we will send through a probe programmed to collect a sample of stellar matter from the nearest star to those coordinates and return. Sarah released a small spherical probe. It floated through the shimmering window and disappeared. The assembled delegates had gone completely silent. Even their translator devices seemed stunned into quietness. 15 seconds later, the probe returned, its surface glowing with heat. Sarah caught it with a magnetic field and placed it in a containment unit. Sample collected. Analysis available for any delegation that wishes to verify the stellar signature. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then, chaos erupted. Impossible. Theralmox's translator could barely keep up with his rapid clicking. This violates every known principle of quantum mechanics. A trick, shouted a Krell delegate. The probe never left the station, insisted a Mandarin scientist. You simply heated it and showed us a hologram. Jinsu waited for the noise to die down. When it did not, he spoke loudly enough to be heard over the commotion. The probe's navigational log is available for inspection. The stellar sample can be analyzed by any council member. We have also placed marker satellites at the destination coordinates, transmitting a unique signal. Any delegation can verify their presence. How? This came from Sealenth, and the single word cut through the noise like a blade. The hall quieted instantly. How is this possible, Ambassador Park? That is the longer explanation, Jinsu said. But the short answer is this. We stopped trying to eliminate quantum uncertainty. Instead, we learned to use it. Theralmox descended from his delegation's platform, approaching the human device with his sensor equipment extended. This is... No. The mathematics do not work. The energy requirements alone should have vaporized your planet. Only if you use conventional approaches, Sarah interjected. We found a way to borrow energy from quantum fluctuations themselves, then pay it back across probability fields. The net energy cost is remarkably low. Probability fields are theoretical constructs, a Selenther scientist protested. They cannot be manipulated. We thought they could not be, Jinsu corrected gently. We were wrong. Director Silent moved closer to the device, light pulsing in complex patterns that suggested deep thought or possibly distress. Ambassador Park, I must ask you directly. Is this device truly functional? Can you truly transfer matter instantaneously across galactic distances? Yes, Director. And this technology? It is stable, reliable. We have conducted over 3,000 successful transfers, Jinsu confirmed. The failure rate is 0.01%. And those failures result only in the transfer being cancelled, not in any dangerous outcomes. Silence light flickered. I must request an immediate recess. The Council requires time to process this information. Of course, Director. Jinsu bowed again. As the delegates filed out in various states of shock, confusion, and disbelief, Jinsu heard Terrell Mox's voice behind him. The Vorathrim had stayed behind, staring at the quantum bridge generator with all 6 of his eyes. I have studied quantum mechanics for 300 of your years, Ambassador Park. I have published 17,000 papers. I have advanced my species' understanding of the universe by measurable degrees. His voice carried no anger now. Only something that might have been wonder, or possibly fear. And you are telling me that everything I know is wrong? Jinsu turned to face the scientist. No. High Scientist. Everything you know is correct. Within its framework, you have built a magnificent tower of knowledge. We simply found a door you did not know existed. A door, Theral Mox repeated. His translator struggled with the emotion in his voice. A door that makes millions of years of our science seem like children counting on their fingers. Not at all, Jinsu said firmly. Your science gave us the foundation. We could not have found this door without standing on the tower you built. We simply had the advantage of being too ignorant to know it should not be there. After Theral Mox left, Sarah approached Jinsu. That went better than expected. Nobody tried to arrest us. The night is young, Jinsu replied. He looked at the quantum bridge generator, still humming softly. Sarah, increase security on our quarters. And make sure the encrypted quantum communicator is ready. You think there will be trouble? I think we just told the galaxy that everything they built their civilizations on might be obsolete. Yes, there will be trouble. Through the hall's transparent dome, Jinsu could see the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth waited. Humanity's home, where chaos and competition had forced evolution to take strange paths. Where impossibility was just a challenge waiting to be overcome. Where they had learned to surf quantum chaos, because they had never been told it could not be done. He hoped Earth was ready for what would come next, because the galaxy had just learned that humans did not play by the established rules. And that revelation would change everything. The emergency session began at what humans would call 3 in the morning, though Concordia Prime operated on a 30-hour cycle that accommodated most species' biological rhythms. Jinsu had not slept. Neither had anyone on his team. They had spent the hours after the demonstration answering questions, providing data, and watching as galactic scientists tried desperately to find the flaw in their impossible technology. They had found none, because there was none to find. The secondary assembly chamber was smaller than the Grand Hall, but still massive by human standards. It could hold 500 individuals comfortably. Today, it was packed with over 700, with more joining remotely through holographic projection. Every major scientific institution in the galaxy had sent representatives. The air hummed with dozens of languages, translation systems working overtime to keep up with the urgent conversations happening in every corner. Jinsu walked to the central platform again, this time alone. His team waited in the human section, ready to provide support if needed. Director Silenth presided over the assembly, but Jinsu noticed that several other senior council members had also taken prominent positions. This was not just a scientific review. This was a political event. Ambassador Park. Silenth began, light pulsing in formal patterns. The council has reviewed your demonstration. The data has been verified. The stellar sample is authentic. The marker satellites at the destination coordinates are transmitting as claimed. A pause. We find ourselves forced to acknowledge that your device functions as stated, which should be impossible, Theralmox added immediately. The Vorathram scientist looked like he had not recharged his energy reserves. His movements were sluggish, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid-fire speech. I have spent the entire night cycle reviewing your data. The mathematics they are wrong, but they work. They should not work, but they do. This contradicts fundamental principles. Then perhaps our understanding of those principles is incomplete, Jinsu suggested. Incomplete? A Krell scientist's translator conveyed outrage. We have studied physics for 3 million years. Your species discovered fire a few 100,000 years ago, which is precisely why we could see what you could not, Jinsu replied calmly. You have spent millions of years perfecting a specific approach to understanding the universe. That approach is valid and has produced magnificent results. But it is not the only approach. Explain. This came from a new voice. Jinsu turned to see a Denari representative, a species he had not interacted with before. They were bipedal like humans, but covered in patterns of bioluminescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions. Currently, the patterns showed deep curiosity mixed with caution. Please, Ambassador, explain how your approach differs. Jinsu took a breath. This was the moment he had prepared for. Every species in this chamber evolved on a different world. Those worlds shaped how you think, how you approach problems. Most of you evolved on worlds that were relatively stable. Predictable seasons, consistent gravity, regular solar cycles. Your evolution favored precision, patience, and incremental improvement. He paused, making sure his translator had caught up. Earth is not like that. Our seasons are chaotic due to our moon's size and our orbital mechanics. Our weather systems are violent and unpredictable. Earthquakes, volcanoes, ice ages that appear and disappear, seemingly at random. Humanity evolved in chaos. We learned to see patterns in randomness. We learned to make plans while knowing those plans would need to change. We learned that sometimes the best solution is not the most elegant one, but the one that works right now. Fascinating anthropology, Theralmox said. But it does not explain impossible technology. It explains everything, Jinsu countered. Your species, high scientist, and most others in this chamber, approached quantum mechanics by trying to eliminate uncertainty. You built more precise instruments. You created more controlled environments. You spent millions of years trying to make quantum systems behave predictably. Because that is how science works, the Krell scientist protested. That is how your science works, Jinsu corrected. Humans took a different path. We asked, what if quantum uncertainty is not a problem to solve, but a resource to use? The chamber went silent. Jinsu continued. We developed what we call chaotic quantum resonance theory. Instead of fighting quantum uncertainty, we learned to ride it. Imagine trying to cross a stormy ocean. You spent millions of years building stronger, more stable ships that could power through the waves. We built surfboards. Surfboards? Several translators struggled with the concept. Sarah stood from the human section, activating a holographic display. May I assist with the technical explanation? Silenth's light pulsed permission. The hologram showed a complex mathematical framework that made several delegates recoil in confusion. This is our core equation, Sarah explained. You will notice it contains variables that conventional quantum mechanics treats as errors to be minimized. In our approach, these variables are amplified and channeled, but that would create cascading uncertainty. A Selenthier scientist objected. The system would collapse into chaos. Yes, Sarah agreed. If you try to control it. But if you design systems that expect chaos and use it directionally, something remarkable happens. The quantum fluctuations do not cancel each other out randomly. They interfere in predictable patterns, like waves in a tidal pool. She changed the hologram to show wave patterns. We discovered that quantum uncertainty, when properly channeled, creates what we call probability channels. These are temporary, unstable pathways through space-time where the normal rules are flexible. Flexible, Theralmox repeated. He moved closer to the hologram, studying it intensely. You are saying that reality itself becomes negotiable? In a very limited, controlled way. Yes, Jinsu confirmed. The quantum bridge generator creates a probability channel between 2 points in space. For a brief moment, the universe cannot decide which point an object occupies, so it occupies both simultaneously. Then, we collapse the probability field, and the object appears at the destination. The energy requirements, a Mandari scientist began, are minimal, Sarah finished. Because we are not actually moving the object through space. We are convincing the universe that the object was always at both locations, then eliminating one possibility. The energy cost is just the cost of creating and collapsing the probability field, not the cost of actual movement. The chamber erupted in argument. Scientists from dozens of species shouted questions, objections, and theories. Some demanded access to the full, mathematical framework. Others insisted it must be a trick or that the humans had discovered some ancient technology and were claiming credit for it. Jinsu waited for the noise to die down. When it did not, he spoke loudly. We will share our research freely with any delegation that requests it. We did not come here to keep secrets. That caused a different kind of chaos. Dozens of delegates immediately requested data transfers. But Jinsu noticed that Director Silenth and several other senior council members had not joined the scramble. They sat quietly, lights pulsing in complex patterns that suggested intense, private communication. The Denari representative approached Jinsu directly during the recess. Her name was Yara, and her skin patterns showed orange and blue, which his cultural database suggested meant concern mixed with respect. Ambassador Park, may I speak frankly? Please, you have just shattered the scientific foundations of galactic civilization. Do you understand what that means politically? Jinsu met her eyes. I believe so. I am not certain you do. Yara's patterns shifted to deep purple. The elder species have maintained their power for millions of years by controlling the most advanced technologies. The Selenther dominate faster than light travel. The Vorathrim control quantum computing. The Krell monopolize biological integration. Their entire economies and political structures rest on being the masters of their domains. And humanity just showed that their domains have boundaries they did not know existed, Jinsu said quietly. Exactly. Yara glanced around, making sure no one else was listening. Some will see opportunity in your discovery, but others will see threat. You have made powerful species feel suddenly very vulnerable. That was not our intention. Intentions matter little in politics, Ambassador. Yara's patterns shifted again, this time to green and silver. I represent a younger species. Like yours, we have long chafed under the elder species' dominance. Many of us are excited by what you have shown. But, the elders. She trailed off meaningfully. We have Evergy. Many Evergy's Riza. We have long chafed under the elder species. Before Jinsu could respond, Director Silenth announced that the session was resuming. Yara returned to her delegation, but not before her patterns flashed. a warning pattern that Jinsu's database translated as, "Be careful." Mox spoke first. "Ambassador Park, I have reviewed your theoretical framework. It is elegant. Disturbing, but elegant. I have identified 17 areas where your approach could be applied to other fields. If your theory is correct, we could revolutionize energy generation, communications, even consciousness studies. That is our hope," Jinsu said. "But I must ask." Mox's voice became very serious. "You demonstrated one impossible technology today. What else have you developed?" Jinsu had expected this question. He had debated with his team and with Earth's government about how to answer. In the end, they had decided that partial honesty served better than either full disclosure or deception. "We have 17 other research projects based on chaotic quantum resonance theory," he admitted. "Most are in early stages. Some are further along." The chamber exploded with sound again. 17. The word rippled through the delegates like a shockwave. 17 impossibilities, a Krell scientist said. "You expect us to believe humans have 17 technologies that violate known physics?" "They do not violate physics," Jinsu corrected. "They simply use physics in ways you have not explored." Director Silent rose, and the chamber quieted instantly. "Ambassador Park, the Council must request detailed information about these other projects. For galactic security and safety, you understand." Jinsu heard the unspoken demand beneath the polite words. "Director, with respect, those projects belong to Earth. We have shared the quantum bridge technology freely. We will share more as projects mature and prove safe. But we cannot surrender our entire research program to Council oversight." "Cannot?" Silent's light pulsed red, a color Jinsu had never seen before. "Or will not?" "Both," Jinsu said firmly. "Earth is a sovereign member of this council. We have the right to conduct our own research. Even research that could threaten galactic stability? Our research threatens no one. We seek only knowledge and cooperation. Your presence here threatens everything." A Vorithrim delegate Jinsu did not recognize stood, gesturing wildly. "You arrive in the galaxy as primitive newcomers, and within years you are overturning millions of years of scientific understanding. How long before you decide that political structures also need overturning?" 2. "We seek no political power," Jinsu said. "Then why develop these technologies at all?" demanded a Selanther scientist. Jinsu smiled sadly. "Because we are human. We see a locked door, and we have to know what is behind it. We see an impossible problem, and we have to try solving it anyway. Not for power, not for conquest, simply because the question exists and demands an answer." "A very pretty speech," Silent said. "But insufficient. The Council will be convening an emergency session to discuss restrictions on human technological development for the good of all species." Jinsu felt a chill. "Restrictions? For galactic stability," Silent repeated. "Surely you understand, Ambassador. If one species develops technologies far beyond the others, it creates dangerous imbalances. We must ensure that your research proceeds safely and for the benefit of all." Jinsu understood perfectly. They wanted to control human advancement, to slow it down, or, more likely, to steal it for themselves. "I will convey your concerns to my government. See that you do." Silent's light pulsed dismissively. "This session is concluded. The Council will reconvene in 3 days." As the delegates filed out, Jinsu noticed that many were not returning to their quarters, but instead gathering in small groups, speaking in hushed, urgent tones. Plans were being made, alliances were forming, and humanity had just placed itself at the center of a political storm that could reshape the galaxy. Sarah approached him. "That could have gone better." "It could have gone much worse," Jinsu replied. "At least they are talking to us instead of shooting at us." Give them time, Sarah muttered. Jinsu activated his secure communicator. I need to send a message to Earth. High priority, maximum encryption. As he composed the message, he looked out at the stars visible through the chamber's windows. Somewhere out there, humanity continued its relentless research, asking questions that perhaps should not be asked, seeking answers to problems that perhaps should remain unsolved. But that was what humans did. It was what made them dangerous, and what made them necessary. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when chaos met order. Jinsu just hoped both sides survived the encounter. The obsidian chamber existed in the oldest section of Concordia Prime, carved from an asteroid fragment that predated the station itself. No official records acknowledged its existence. No maintenance crews ever entered. Only 7 species knew of this place, and they came here only when galactic civilization faced its greatest threats. Director Silent arrived first, crystalline form gliding through corridors that automatically sealed behind each visitor. The Selanther had called this meeting, and that alone indicated the severity of the situation. The obsidian chamber had not been used in 12,000 years, not since the Krell expansion crisis nearly tore the Council apart. High Scientist Theral Mox came next, his 6 legs moving with unusual urgency. Behind him came Grand Admiral Korthan of the Mandari Collective, her 4 arms carrying data tablets and secure communication devices. The Krell Dominion sent Executor Vash, whose biological implants glowed faintly in the chamber's dim light. 3 other species sent their highest-ranking representatives: the Zenthri Coordinator, the Promath Hierophant, and the Joval Prime Speaker. No records would be kept of this meeting. No translators were allowed. Each species brought their own interpretation, technology, and those devices would be electromagnetically shielded to prevent outside access. What was discussed here would never officially exist. Silent activated the chamber's security systems. Fields of energy enveloped the room, blocking every known form of surveillance. Only then did the ancient being speak. We face a crisis unlike any in recorded history. The humans have demonstrated technology that fundamentally breaks our understanding of reality. This meeting will determine how we respond. Destroy them. Executor Vash's biological implants pulsed with aggressive chemicals. The Krell Dominion had always favored direct solutions. Before they become an insurmountable threat, we know where their homeworld is. 6 fusion warheads placed correctly would make us genocidal monsters and unify every younger species against us, Grand Admiral Korthan interrupted. Her tactical mind saw problems Vash's aggression missed. The humans have already shared their quantum bridge data with 43 delegations. Attacking them now would only prove we see them as threats rather than partners. We do see them as threats, the Zenthri Coordinator stated flatly. Because they are. Our intelligence services have compiled reports. The Coordinator activated a holographic display. Data streamed into the chamber's air, floating in golden light that all species present could interpret. This is what we know about human technological development. They discovered fusion power 97 of their years ago. They achieved faster than light travel 41 years ago. They were admitted to the Council 5 years ago. The Coordinator changed the display. In those 5 years, they have made the following achievements: a stable quantum bridge system that allows instantaneous matter transfer, 17 other projects based on what they call chaotic quantum resonance theory, including but not limited to localized time dilation fields, probability manipulation devices, consciousness transfer protocols, and something they are calling uncertainty shields that make objects difficult to detect or target. Theral Mox made a sound his implants struggled to translate. 17 projects. In 5 years. My species spent 300 years improving our FTL drives by 3%. That is the core problem, Silent said. Humans develop technology at speeds we cannot comprehend. Our intelligence estimates that within 10 years, they will have capabilities exceeding our combined knowledge by multiple orders of magnitude. How is this possible? the Promath Hierophant demanded. They are a young species. Their science should be primitive. Their science is not primitive, Theralmox said quietly. It is alien. Completely, fundamentally alien to how we approach knowledge. He activated his own data display, showing neural scans. These are human brain scans. Notice the unusual connections between their analytical and creative centers. Their consciousness evolved to handle chaotic environmental input, where our species developed precise, linear thinking optimized for stable environments. Humans developed adaptable, lateral thinking optimized for unpredictable chaos. You sound like you admire them, Vash said accusingly. I do, Theralmox admitted. But I also fear them, because while we have spent millions of years perfecting our approaches, they have spent a few 100,000 years surviving through improvisation. They see patterns we cannot see. They make intuitive leaps that seem like madness but produce results. They are evolutionary optimized for exactly the kind of breakthrough thinking that drives scientific revolution. Then we must control them, the jovial prime speaker said. Incorporate them into existing power structures. Make them dependent on council resources. Slow their development to manageable speeds. Grand Admiral Corthan made a gesture indicating doubt. Humans have already demonstrated they can develop world-changing technology with minimal resources. Their entire quantum bridge program cost less than a single Selenthere FTL gate. Restricting their resources will not stop them. It will only make them resentful. What about intellectual control? Suggested the Zen3 coordinator. Embed our scientists in their research programs. Require joint development partnerships. Gradually guide their research in directions we can manage. That assumes they would accept such arrangements, Silenth pointed out. Ambassador Park made their position clear. Earth considers itself a sovereign power, with the right to independent research. Then, we make that sovereignty conditional, Vash said. Economic sanctions, trade restrictions, isolation protocols. We have leverage. Do we? Corthan asked. What happens when they offer their quantum bridge technology to every younger species frustrated with the elder species' dominance? What happens when they create an alternative power block built around technological cooperation rather than technological control? The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The current galactic order depended on the elder species maintaining their technological superiority. The Selenthere controlled FTL travel and communication. The Vorathrim dominated advanced computing and quantum systems. The Krell owned biological technology. The Mandari military protected everyone for a price. Humanity threatened all of it. Not through conquest or aggression, but simply by offering alternatives. There is another factor, Theralmox said reluctantly. Our scientists have begun analyzing human chaotic quantum resonance theory. Initial results suggest it is not just valid, but revolutionary. If we embraced their approach, we could advance our own capabilities dramatically. At what cost? Silenth's light pulsed red. The Selenthere economy depends on our FTL gate network. If quantum bridges become standard technology, our entire civilization's economic foundation collapses. The same applies to all of us, the Promath Hierophant said. Our power comes from controlling knowledge and technology. If humans freely share their breakthroughs, they destroy the scarcity that gives us leverage. Perhaps that is not entirely bad, Theralmox suggested carefully. We have grown comfortable, stagnant even. If we partnered with them genuinely, partnership implies equality, Vash interrupted. We are not equal to a species that discovered fire only recently, but they discovered impossible technology that we missed in millions of years of research, Theralmox countered. Perhaps our age is less advantaged than we believed. Perhaps fresh perspectives matter more than accumulated knowledge. Heresy, the jovial prime speaker said. You suggest abandoning millions of years of civilization for the chaotic dreams of primitives? I suggest acknowledging reality, Theralmox replied. The humans have demonstrated capabilities we cannot match. We can either learn from them or be left behind. Pride will not change these facts. Silent pulsed for attention. We are losing focus. The question is not whether humans are impressive or whether their science is valid. The question is what we do about the threat they represent to our civilization's stability and prosperity. I propose a layered approach, Grand Admiral Corthan said. First, we pass council resolutions requiring all advanced research to undergo safety reviews. This gives us legal grounds to slow human development while appearing concerned only with galactic welfare. Second, the Zen3 coordinator added, we offer humans incentives to share their research. Technology exchanges, economic partnerships, cultural programs, we make cooperation more attractive than independence. Third, Vash said darkly, we prepare contingencies. If humans refuse to cooperate, if they threaten council stability, we must have options. Not necessarily violence, but leverage. Ways to pressure them into compliance. And fourth, Silent concluded, we accelerate our own research programs. Humans may have made breakthroughs, but we have resources they cannot match. We must close the gap before it becomes insurmountable. The 7 species agreed to the plan. Details were worked out. Responsibilities assigned. Timelines established. The meeting lasted 6 hours, and by the end, they had constructed an approach they believed would contain the human threat while maintaining the appearance of cooperation. What none of them knew was that the human quarters had been monitored successfully for the past 3 days. Not by traditional surveillance, human quantum probability shields had blocked all conventional monitoring, but by a young Denari technician named Yara, who had discovered that the shield's quantum uncertainty could be exploited as an information channel if you approach the problem from a completely different angle. A human approach, she realized with amusement. Yara had listened to Jinsu's private communications with Earth. She had heard his warnings about potential council hostility, and she had made a decision that would have shocked her government. She contacted Jinsu directly. The message came through at what humans called 4 in the morning. Jinsu woke to find a secure data packet waiting on his quantum communicator. Source encrypted but marked with Denari signature patterns. Ambassador Park, Yara's voice message began, you do not know me well, but I believe you should know that you are in danger. The elder species are meeting in secret. They fear you. They plan to restrict you. I am sending you recordings of their discussions. Use them wisely. Jinsu listened to the recordings with growing concern. Sarah joined him halfway through, her face darkening as she heard the elder species discuss humanity like a problem to be solved, rather than partners to be embraced. They are going to try to box us in, Sarah said. Safety reviews. Forced partnerships. Economic pressure. And if that fails, worse, Jinsu added. What do we do? Jinsu thought for a long moment. Then he smiled, though it did not reach his eyes. We prepare our own demonstration. If they want to see humanity as a threat, we will show them what humanity does when threatened. But we will also show them what we can do as partners. The choice will be theirs. What kind of demonstration? One that proves we cannot be controlled or contained, but also one that proves we do not need to be. Jinsu activated his communicator. Get me a direct line to the Second Fleet. Uncirc. And someone find me the coordinates for all 12 Council homeworlds. Sarah's eyes widened. Jinsu, what are you planning? To change the conversation, he replied. The Council thinks this is about controlling human technology. We are going to show them this is about choosing what kind of galaxy we all want to live in. As dawn came to Concordia Prime, 2 very different groups prepared for confrontation. The elder species believed they were containing a threat. The humans knew they were defending their right to exist freely. Neither side fully understood what was about to happen. But both were about to learn that when chaos meets order, the result is never predictable. And humanity had become very, very good at using unpredictability as a weapon. The real demonstration was about to begin. The formal council session began exactly 3 days after the Obsidian Chamber meeting. As scheduled, Director Silent presided from the high platform. crystalline form. Catching the morning light streaming through the Grand Hall's dome, 47 delegations filled their assigned spaces, but tension hung in the air like static before a lightning storm. Jinsu noticed the changes immediately. Security forces from 6 different species now stood at every entrance, far more than usual. Several delegations that had been friendly 3 days ago now avoided eye contact. Others watched the humans with expressions ranging from concern to outright hostility. The recordings Yara had provided explained everything. Silinth opened the session with formal protocols, but Jinsu could see the ancient being was eager to reach the true purpose of this gathering. After minimal pleasantries, Silinth activated the main display. The Council has spent the past 3 days reviewing the implications of human quantum bridge technology. We have consulted with scientific institutions, economic advisors, and security experts from across the galaxy. We have reached several unanimous conclusions. Jinsu said nothing, simply waited. First, the Council recognizes that human technological development has reached a critical threshold. Your capabilities now affect galactic stability and security. Second, the Council acknowledges that rapid, unregulated technological advancement poses risks that transcend any single species. Third, the Council believes that cooperation and oversight serve all species better than isolated development. Therefore, Silinth continued, light pulsing in formal cadence, the Council proposes the following resolution. All member species developing technologies that significantly exceed current galactic capabilities must submit their research for peer review and safety assessment before implementation. This applies to all species, not only humans, and serves the common good. The proposal appeared on displays throughout the hall. Jinsu read it quickly, but he had already known what it would say. Yara's recordings had given him time to prepare. The resolution looked reasonable on the surface. Safety reviews, peer collaboration, shared benefits. But hidden in the formal language were requirements that would effectively give the Council veto power over human research. Any project could be delayed indefinitely through additional assessment. Any breakthrough could be claimed for galactic benefit, meaning the elder species would have legal rights to any technology humanity. 2. Enter developed. It was not partnership. It was control disguised as cooperation. The Council requests Earth's response, Silinth said. Will humanity agree to these reasonable safety measures? Jinsu stood. Every eye in the hall focused on him. Director Silinth, honored delegates, Earth has reviewed this proposal carefully. We appreciate the Council's concern for galactic safety. He paused. Several delegates relaxed slightly, thinking he would accept. However, Earth must respectfully decline. The hall erupted. Dozens of delegates began speaking at once, translators struggling to keep up with the chaos. Decline? Silinth's light flashed red. Ambassador Park, this is not a request that can be declined. This is a Council resolution. That requires unanimous consent from all member species. Jinsu interrupted politely, but firmly. Earth is a member species. We do not consent. You would put your own interests above galactic safety? Demanded Executor Vosh, rising from the Krell section. We would protect our sovereignty, Jinsu replied. This proposal is not about safety. It is about control. The Council seeks to regulate human research, not because it is dangerous, but because it threatens existing power structures. That is an outrageous accusation. The Jovial Prime Speaker protested. Is it? Jinsu activated his own display, and suddenly, Yara's recordings began playing throughout the hall. Voices from the Obsidian Chamber meeting filled the space, discussing how to contain humanity, how to slow their development, how to protect elder species' economic interests. The effect was explosive. Younger species delegates began shouting questions. Elder species representatives tried to deny or explain. Silinth's light pulsed frantically, trying to restore order. Where did you get those recordings? Silinth demanded. That chamber is supposed to be completely secure. Apparently it is not as secure as you believed, Jinsu said. Much like your assumptions about human capabilities. This changes nothing, Vash shouted. You have proven exactly what we feared. You cannot be trusted. You spy on council proceedings. We received these recordings from someone concerned about justice, Jinsu interrupted. Someone who believed humanity deserved to know that council leaders were discussing us like a problem to be solved, rather than partners to be respected. Theralmach stood. The Vorathrim scientist looked tired but determined. Ambassador Park, even if the elder species' concerns were expressed poorly, the fundamental question remains. Your technological advancement is unprecedented. How can the galaxy accommodate such rapid change without destabilization? By embracing that change rather than fighting it, Jinsu said. By choosing cooperation over control. By trusting that humanity wants partnership, not dominance. Words, Vash spat. You ask us to trust words while you develop weapons we cannot defend against. We have developed no weapons, Jinsu said firmly. The quantum bridge itself is a weapon. Korthan, the Mandari admiral, spoke for the first time. Ships could appear anywhere, instantly. No defense system could respond. You have created the ultimate strategic advantage. Jinsu nodded slowly. You are correct, Admiral. The quantum bridge does have military applications, as does every technology ever developed. Fire can cook food or burn cities. The question is not what technology can do, but what we choose to do with it. And what do humans choose? Silent asked coldly. Jinsu took a breath. This was the moment. We choose to demonstrate both our capability and our restraint. With the Council's permission, or without it, we will now show you exactly what human technology can do. Before anyone could respond, Jinsu activated a signal on his communicator. Across the galaxy, 12 human ships executed a synchronized quantum bridge jump. They appeared simultaneously in orbit above 12 different worlds. The Selanther homeworld, the Vorathrim colony capital, the Krell Dominion throne world, and 9 other major council species' most important planets. The ships were small by galactic standards, barely 300 meters long. They carried no visible weapons, but they had appeared out of nowhere, bypassing every defense, every early warning system, every protective measure the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had developed over millions of years. Panic rippled through the council chamber as alerts flooded in. Home defense forces scrambled. Planetary shields activated too late. Military commanders demanded explanations. What have you done? Silent's voice shook with fury and fear. Proven a point, Jinsu said calmly. Those ships carry no weapons. Their crews have strict orders not to engage anyone. They will remain in orbit for exactly 10 minutes, then return home. They are there only to demonstrate that humanity can reach any world in the galaxy instantly, anytime we choose. This is an act of war, Vash roared. This is an act of demonstration, Jinsu corrected. If we wanted war, Admiral, those ships would have carried weapons. They would have fired. They did not because we do not seek conflict. But we will not accept being controlled or contained. Grand Admiral Korthan stared at the tactical displays showing human ships hovering untouchable above the galaxy's most powerful worlds. Her forearms trembled slightly. You have just invalidated every military doctrine in the galaxy. No defense system can respond to instantaneous attack. You have made us all vulnerable. No, Jinsu said. We have made everyone equal. Your advanced species could always reach younger species' worlds with your superior technology. Now, we can reach yours. The playing field is level. Level? Silence light flashed through a dozen colors. You call holding our worlds hostage? Level? We hold nothing hostage. In 8 minutes, those ships will leave. They will not return unless invited. But now you understand. Humanity cannot be forced to submit. You cannot threaten us because we can respond. You cannot control us because we can resist. The only option is genuine partnership, or destruction. Vash said darkly. If we cannot control you, we can still unite against you. Every species in this council would be joined by how many younger species who see in humanity a chance to break free from elder species dominance? Jinsu asked. Look around this chamber, Executor. Half the delegations are not looking at us with fear. They are looking at you with anger. Because they finally understand how you have been controlling them. It was true. Younger species delegates were in heated discussions, some pointing at elder species representatives, others accessing the recordings Jinsu had released. The revelation of the Obsidian Chamber meeting had exposed years of carefully hidden power dynamics. This is chaos, the Promath Hierophant declared. You are destroying the order that has maintained peace for millennia. Oh, peace built on inequality is not peace, Jinsu replied. It is simply delayed conflict. We are offering real peace. Partnership between equals. Equals? Theralmox made a sound that might have been a laugh. Ambassador Park, humans have been in space for barely a century. We have been civilized for millions of years. How can we be equals? Because equality is not about age or experience, Jinsu said. It is about respect. About recognizing that different does not mean inferior. Humanity brings new perspectives, new approaches, new solutions to old problems. You bring wisdom, experience, and infrastructure. Together, we could achieve things neither could accomplish alone. Pretty words from someone currently threatening our homeworlds, Silent said. Jinsu checked his chronometer. 6 minutes remain. Let me propose something different. Instead of the Council's resolution, Earth suggests an alternative. The Open Quantum Initiative. He activated a new document on the hall's displays. Under this proposal, humanity will share our quantum bridge technology and our chaotic quantum resonance theory freely with any species that agrees to 3 conditions. First, technology must be used only for peaceful purposes, no weapons development. Second, any improvements or discoveries must also be shared freely with all initiative members. Third, all research must involve genuine collaboration, with credit and benefits shared equally. You would just give away your advantage? Korthan asked skeptically. We would build something better than advantage, Jinsu said. We would build a community of innovation. Species working together, learning from each other, advancing together. No one controls the knowledge, no one dominates the others. True cooperation. Naive idealism, Vash sneered. Perhaps, Jinsu acknowledged. But consider the alternative. The Council tries to control us. We resist. Conflict escalates. The galaxy fractures into factions. Centuries of cooperation collapse. Is that better than trying? Idealism? Silent pulsed thoughtfully. And what of species who refuse to join your initiative? What of those who prefer the current system? They are free to continue as they have, Jinsu said. We will not force participation. But we believe many species will see the benefit of open cooperation over controlled competition. 3 minutes, Sarah whispered to Jinsu. Yara stood in the Denari section. Her skin patterns showed bold, orange and gold courage and hope. The Denari wish to join the Open Quantum Initiative. We believe cooperation serves the galaxy better than control. End quote. Several other younger species immediately echoed the sentiment. Within seconds, 16 delegations had expressed interest. The elder species watched their influence crumbling in real time. 1 minute, Sarah said. The ships are withdrawing on schedule, Jinsu announced. Across the galaxy, 12 human vessels activated their quantum bridges and vanished from orbit, returning to Earth space. They completed their demonstration without firing a shot or threatening anyone. We showed you what we can do. Now we are showing you what we choose not to do. This is manipulation, Silent accused. This is honesty, Jinsu replied. We could have kept our capabilities secret until we needed them. Instead, we showed them openly, while also showing our restraint. We are giving the Council a choice. Continue trying to control us, or work with us as true partners. The hall descended into chaos as delegations argued among themselves. Elder species tried to maintain their traditional alliances, while younger species saw opportunity for independence. The carefully maintained power structure of the Galactic Council was fracturing before everyone's eyes. Jin Su stood calmly at the center of the storm, knowing that the next few hours would determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of galactic civilization itself. They had taken the ultimate risk, demonstrating overwhelming capability while simultaneously offering genuine cooperation. Now they would discover whether the galaxy could evolve past its old hierarchies, or whether humanity would have to forge a new path alone. Either way, one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The age of unquestioned elder species dominance had ended. What would replace it remained to be seen. 6 months had passed since what the galaxy now called the demonstration. The Galactic Council had not dissolved, but it had transformed into something fundamentally different. The old hierarchies remained on paper, but the reality beneath them had shifted in ways no one could have predicted. Jin Su stood in the newly constructed Human Galactic Research Facility, a massive station, orbiting a neutral star system, halfway between Earth and the traditional Council core worlds. Through the observation windows, he could see ships from 23 different species docked at the facility's ports. Scientists, engineers, and researchers from across the galaxy had come to participate in what they now called the Open Quantum Initiative. Ambassador Park, a familiar clicking voice called. Jin Su turned to see Theral Mox approaching, his 6 legs moving with more energy than they had 6 months ago. The Vorathrim scientist had changed in ways that went beyond the physical. His posture suggested excitement rather than weary superiority. "Hi, scientist." Jin Su greeted him with genuine warmth. "How goes the resonance research?" Jin Su, 1-5. "Remarkably," Theral Mox admitted. His translator caught nuances of emotion that suggested wonder. "I have learned more in these 6 months than in the previous 300 years. Your doctor, Chen, is a remarkable teacher, though her methods are chaotic." Jin Su smiled. "That is the human way." "Indeed." Theral Mox gestured with 2 of his limbs toward a laboratory visible through an interior window. Inside, a mixed team of humans, Vorathrim, and 3 other species worked together on what looked like a quantum probability matrix. "We have made a breakthrough. By combining my species' precision mathematics with your chaos theory and the Denari's intuitive pattern recognition, we have created a hybrid approach that exceeds what any of us could have achieved alone." "What kind of breakthrough?" "We have successfully created stable probability fields that can be maintained for up to 17 hours, Theral Mox said. "Previously, we could only maintain them for seconds. This opens up applications we never imagined. Medical stasis fields that can preserve patients indefinitely. Agricultural systems that can optimize growing conditions by testing multiple probability outcomes simultaneously. Even educational applications where students can experience multiple learning paths to find what works best for them." Jin Su felt genuine pride. "That is exactly what we hoped the initiative would achieve. I owe you an apology, Ambassador." Theral Mox's voice carried unusual humility. 6 months ago, I viewed your species as dangerous upstarts, threatening everything I knew. I was wrong. You were not threatening knowledge. You were offering evolution. You have nothing to apologize for, Jin Su said. Your caution was reasonable. We did upend your scientific framework. You did. Theral Mox agreed. But in doing so, you reminded us that science is not about protecting established theories. It is about seeking truth wherever it leads. I had forgotten that in my centuries of defending conventional wisdom. Their conversation was interrupted by Sarah Chen, who approached with a data tablet and an expression Jin Su recognized as suppressed excitement. Jin Su, you need to see this. The Selanther delegation just submitted a formal application to join the initiative. Jinsu blinked in surprise. Director Silenth agreed to this? Not just agreed, Sarah said, showing him the tablet. Silenth is leading the delegation personally. They are bringing their entire faster-than-light research division. Apparently, they realize that if they cannot beat the quantum bridge, they should understand it. Times change, Jinsu murmured. More than you know. Sarah continued. The Krell Dominion has also expressed interest. Executor Vash was replaced 3 months ago, after his aggressive policies toward humanity backfired politically. The new executor is much more pragmatic. They want to explore biological applications of quantum probability theory. Jinsu looked out at the docked ships again, seeing the physical evidence of transformation. 6 months ago, these species had tried to control or contain humanity. Now they were partners, however cautiously, but not everyone had accepted the new paradigm. 3 elder species, the Promath, the Joval, and the Zenthri, had refused to join the initiative. They maintained their old technological monopolies, their traditional power structures. They still commanded significant influence in the official council, even as real innovation moved to the initiative facilities. And there had been incidents. 2 months ago, human research vessels had been attacked by pirates using advanced weapons that analysis suggested came from Promath sources. The attacks had failed human quantum probability shields, made the ships nearly impossible to target, but they represented a clear message. Some powers preferred war to evolution. Jinsu's communicator chimed. Ambassador, this is station security. We have a situation at Docking Bay 7. 2. Quote, what kind of situation? Director Silenth has arrived. With 3 full scientific teams and enough equipment to outfit a research division. They are requesting immediate facility access and laboratory space. Jinsu exchanged glances with Sarah. I will be right there. Docking Bay 7 was controlled chaos when Jinsu arrived. Dozens of Selanther scientists were directing automated cargo systems, moving crates of equipment into the station. At the center of the activity stood Director Silenth, the ancient being's crystalline form pulsing with what Jinsu's cultural database suggested was determination mixed with embarrassment. Director, Jinsu greeted formally. This is unexpected. Ambassador Park. Silenth's light settled into neutral tones. I come to request membership in the Open Quantum Initiative. On behalf of the Selanther people, I acknowledge that we responded poorly to your technological breakthrough. We allowed fear and pride to govern our actions. This was unwise. Jinsu noticed that half the docking bay had gone quiet, species from a dozen worlds watching this moment. The director of the Galactic Council, one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, was publicly admitting error and requesting entry to a human-led organization. Director, the initiative's requirements are clear, Jinsu said carefully. Technology must be shared freely. Research must be collaborative. No species dominates the others. Can the Selanther accept these terms? We can. Silenth said. More than that. We must. My civilization has spent the past 6 months watching as the initiative made breakthroughs we could not match. We watched as younger species began surpassing us because they were willing to learn new approaches while we clung to old certainties. We watched as our monopoly on FTL travel became increasingly irrelevant as more species adopted quantum bridge technology. Silenth's light pulsed in complex patterns. I am 17,000 of your years old. Ambassador, I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have witnessed golden ages and dark periods, and I have learned that the species who survive are not the strongest or the oldest, but the ones willing to adapt. If you are need for mission, the Selanther choose adaptation. The Selanther choose survival, Silenth corrected, but also growth. Your ships appeared above our homeworld, and we realized how vulnerable we had become in our complacency. But what truly changed our minds was what you did afterward. What we did? You kept your promise, Silenth said simply. Your ships left, as you said they would. You did not make demands. You did not leverage your advantage. You offered partnership, and when species accepted, you gave them exactly what you promised. Free access to your technology, genuine collaboration, shared credit for discoveries. The ancient being moved closer. This is not how power typically behaves, Ambassador. Power usually seeks to expand itself, to dominate, to control. But humanity demonstrated power and then chose restraint. That choice has done more to change the galaxy than your technology ever could. Jinsu felt the weight of Silent's words. Around them, scientists and researchers from multiple species watched silently, understanding they were witnessing a historical moment. The Selenthir are welcome in the initiative, Jinsu said formally. We will assign you laboratory space and integrate your teams with existing projects. Your expertise in quantum mechanics will be valuable to several ongoing research directions. Thank you, Ambassador. Silenth paused, then added quietly, I must ask, did you know we would eventually join? Was this entire strategy calculated? Jinsu smiled. Honestly? We hoped. But we did not know. Humans prefer optimism. But we prepare for disappointment. Chaos and adaptability, Silenth observed. Your species' core traits. Perhaps that is why you succeeded where we would have failed. Over the following weeks, the Selenthir integration proceeded remarkably smoothly. Their precise mathematical approaches, combined with human chaos theory, created unexpected synergies. A joint human Selenthir team developed improved quantum bridge generators that reduced energy costs by 40%, while increasing range by a factor of 3. Another team created new applications for probability manipulation that had implications for everything from weather control to medical treatment. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected quarter. 3 months after the Selenthir joined, Jinsu received an urgent message from Theral Mox. Ambassador, you must come to Laboratory 17 immediately. We have discovered something extraordinary. Jinsu found the laboratory filled with scientists from 5 different species, all staring at a device that hurt to look at. It seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, solid and liquid and energy all at once. What am I looking at? Jinsu asked. The future, Theral Mox said, his voice filled with awe. We combined human quantum probability theory with Selenthir temporal mechanics and Denari consciousness studies. The result is this, a device that can create localized time fields. Time manipulation? Limited but functional. Silenth confirmed. The ancient being's light pulsing with excitement Jinsu had never seen before. We can accelerate or decelerate time within a confined space by a factor of up to 100. A day inside the field could be an hour outside, or vice versa. Sarah whistled softly. The applications are revolutionary, Theral Mox finished. Research that would take years could be completed in months. Dangerous situations could be slowed, giving responders more subjective time to react. Medical emergencies could be stalled while treatment is prepared. This changes everything. Again, Jinsu added with a slight smile. Again, Theral Mox agreed. But Ambassador, this discovery represents something more important than any single technology. This required 3 species working together, each contributing approaches the others would never have developed alone. This is what the initiative was meant to create. Jinsu understood. The Open Quantum Initiative had started as humanity's attempt to avoid being controlled while sharing their breakthrough, but it had evolved into something greater. A new model for how galactic civilization could advance. Not through competition and controlled scarcity, but through cooperation and shared abundance. Not everyone agreed, of course. The Promath Dominion responded to news of the time manipulation breakthrough by announcing their own isolated research program, refusing initiative partnership. The Joval announced trade sanctions against initiative members. Though these were largely ignored, some species feared the pace of change, arguing for slowdown and caution. And there was the incident. 1 month before Jinsu was scheduled to return to Earth for the first time since the demonstration, Human research vessels detected 3 Promath warships, attempting to destroy a joint human-Denari quantum bridge station. The attack was well planned, using weapons specifically designed to disrupt probability fields. It failed. The station's uncertainty shields held long enough for initiative defense forces to respond. But afterward, analysis revealed something disturbing. The Promath had been developing weapons specifically to counter human technology for months. The discovery forced a difficult council session. The Promath representative defended their actions, arguing that human technological advancement threatened galactic stability and justified preemptive defense. Jin-Su listened to the arguments, then stood to respond. The Promath claim they act in self-defense against humanity. But humanity has not threatened them. We have not attacked their worlds. We have not demanded submission. We offered partnership, which they refused. That is their right. But they do not have the right to attack those who accepted our offer, Jin-Su continued, his voice hardening. The Denari scientists on that station were not soldiers. They were researchers, working peacefully to advance knowledge. The Promath attempted to murder them, simply for choosing cooperation over isolation. He activated a display showing the damaged station and the faces of the researchers who had nearly died. The Council must decide what this galaxy stands for. Do we tolerate violence against those who choose cooperation? Do we allow fear and pride to justify murder? Or do we stand together and make clear that attacking peaceful research violates everything the Council claims to represent? The vote was close. But ultimately, the Council formally censured the Promath Dominion and imposed sanctions. It was not the harsh punishment some wanted, but it represented an important precedent. The galaxy was choosing cooperation over domination, even when that choice came with difficulty and cost. Now, standing in the observation deck of the research station, 6 months after the demonstration, Jin-Su reflected on how far they had come. 23 species in the initiative. 17 major breakthroughs shared freely. 3 elder species still resistant, but increasingly isolated. And humanity at the center of it all. Not through conquest, but through the simple willingness to share what they had discovered. Sarah joined him at the window. Thinking deep thoughts? Wondering if we are ready for what comes next. Which is, Jin-Su gestured at a display showing current research projects. Time manipulation is just the beginning. Teams are working on consciousness transfer protocols that could enable communication across probability states. Energy generation systems that draw power from quantum fluctuations. Fabrication technology that builds objects by collapsing probability fields around desired outcomes. Each breakthrough leads to 3 more possibilities. That sounds exciting, Sarah said. It sounds dangerous. Jin-Su replied. 6 months ago, we showed the galaxy that humanity could develop impossible technology. Now we are teaching the galaxy how to do the same. What happens when everyone can manipulate probability, bend time, reshape reality itself? The same thing that happened when everyone learned to use fire, Sarah said. Some will use it for warmth and cooking. Others will start fires. But overall, civilization advances. We become more capable, more connected, better able to solve the problems we face. You have remarkable optimism. I learned it from humanity's approach to quantum mechanics, Sarah said with a grin. When everyone said something was impossible, we said let's try anyway and see what happens. That optimism got us here. It will carry us forward. Jin-Su smiled. Perhaps she was right. Perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy was not their technology, but their attitude. The stubborn, irrational belief that impossible problems had solutions if you just approached them differently. His communicator chimed. Ambassador Park, you have an incoming message from Earth. High priority. Jin-Su accepted the connection. The face of Earth's president appeared on his display. Ambassador, I wanted to inform you personally. Before the public announcement, the United Earth government has decided to relocate our primary research facilities to the Initiative Station. We are committing to full galactic integration. Jin-Su felt surprise, and pride. That is a significant decision. It is the right one, the president said. Humanity spent most of our history divided into competing nations. It nearly destroyed us several times. We finally learned that cooperation works better than competition. Now we have a chance to teach that lesson on a galactic scale. How could we refuse? 1. After the call ended, Jinsu stood alone in the observation deck, watching ships come and go. Human vessels alongside Vorathrim, Selanther, Denari, and a dozen others. Species that 6 months ago had been adversaries or strangers, now working together toward common goals. It was not perfect. Resistance remained. Some species clung to old hierarchies. Conflict still erupted. But the direction was clear. The galaxy was evolving. Learning that different approaches to problems created richer solutions than any single perspective could achieve alone. And at the center of this transformation stood humanity, the species too young to know what was impossible, too stubborn to accept that some doors should remain closed, too optimistic to believe that problems lacked solutions. Theral Mox's words echoed in Jinsu's memory. You were not threatening knowledge. You were offering evolution. Perhaps that was humanity's true gift. Not any specific technology, but the willingness to ask, what if? Even when the answer might upend everything. The courage to share what they discovered rather than hoarding it. The wisdom to demonstrate capability while choosing restraint. Jinsu smiled, looking out at the stars. 6 months ago, humanity had presented technology that should have been impossible. Today, they had helped create a galaxy where impossible was just another word for, we haven't figured it out yet. The real revolution was not in the technology itself, but in the mindset that created it. And that mindset was spreading. Species by species. Researcher by researcher. Breakthrough by breakthrough. The future remained uncertain. Probability fields and quantum chaos ensured that much. But Jinsu had learned that uncertainty was not something to fear. It was something to use. To ride like waves in a stormy ocean, and humanity had always been very good at surfing.